Oh, here. Okay.
I call this meeting of the Alvin Independent School District to order. Let the record show that the quorum of board members is present and that this meeting has been duly called and that notice of this meeting has been posted in accordance with Texas Open Meeting Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551. If you would all please stand for the invocation and pledge by Trustee Selsky.
Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us engage in meaningful discussion. Allow us to grow closer as a group and nurture the bonds of community. Inspire us to reflect with gratitude on all that is good in this world and all that we have given in our life, our family, our friends, and the community here at Alvin ISD. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you very much. Next, we have the introduction of the greeters.
Oh, okay. We were fine. We didn't have any this evening. Okay. We didn't have any this evening. We have a
okay.
lot of students we're recognizing.
Okay,
so.
I apologize for that. Well, then next we'll have the superintendent's report.
Okay, board, trustees, we have several things we're celebrating in the district, and first and foremost, our elementary teacher of the year finalists and secondary teacher of the year finalists. Alvin ISD announced their finalists for the 22-23 school year. These teachers completed an interview process, and the committee will choose the Alvin ISD elementary and secondary teacher of the year. This announcement will take place during our Alvin ISD employee recognition ceremony being held on May 11th. The paraprofessional of the year and rookie teacher of the year will also be announced at that time. So congratulations to all of our finalists. Great group of teachers that represent Alvin ISD well. On Monday, March the 27th, Alvin ISD administrators and board members set out across the district to surprise 20 of our district employees with the Alvin ISD Believes Award. This prestigious award is a district-wide initiative and is implemented several times throughout the year, and they're nominated by their peers or any of the administrators throughout the district. So congratulations to those employees who received a Believes Award. And then this was very, very exciting, and you can, if you catch Lisa Savage, she will fill you in more than just what's on this slide here. But we are a very proud district, premier communities for theater education. The Educational Theater Association has recognized Alvin ISD for its commitment to theater education with the Premier Communities for Theater Education designation. With this resignation from the Educational Theater Association, Alvin ISD is one of only 3 school districts in the state of Texas and 25 communities in the United States to receive this 3-year distinction. So this says a lot about our fine arts program, our leadership, our teachers in theater education. So congratulations to all of them. The 2023 UIL concert and sight reading recently took place. Our Alvin ISD high school and junior high choirs and orchestra and junior high band recently competed at the 2023 UIL concert sight reading evaluation. All of our schools got overwhelmingly sweepstakes or superior, which is the top honor. Again, congratulations to the students and the instructors in those fine arts programs. The week of April 3rd through the 7th was Alvin ISD celebrated our Assistant Principals Week on campuses. So thank you to our assistant and associate principals across the district who serve along with our principals, but they really get in with the students and really work closely with each teacher on campus and our families. So thank you to our assistant and associate principals. Of course, we love our school librarians. National School Librarian Day was April the 4th. And we'll talk a little bit more about them later, but each one of these employees serve our students on a daily basis in selection and igniting their love of reading for each one of the schools. And honestly, the library is like the heart of the school where things are happening. April is Community College Month, and we have a great partnership with Alvin Community College. Community colleges prepare our students with the knowledge needed to enter the workforce or to transfer to a four-year institution. Alvin ISD's partnership with Alvin Community College helps our students as they transition from high school to the real world. And so we value our partnership there with ACC and continue to look for ways to partner with them. You all are invited to go the distance at Alvin ISD Employee Recognition Ceremony, which will be held on May the 11th. At this ceremony, we'll honor our teachers, paras, rookies of the year, department employees of the year, our retirees, and much more. And then finally, we have Duke Elementary. It's Dr. James Red Duke Elementary School wins the read to the Final Four. So congratulations for all of our Alvin ISD third graders. They read over 13 million minutes. That's a lot. So we're going to take a look at a short video at this time, and then I'm going to call up a few people.
This year's read to the Final Four champion is Dr. Red Duke.
Across the district. Literacy is the foundation. Students, it will take you far in life. This isn't the end. This is the beginning. And we need you to continue reading throughout your educational career, throughout your life, even as adults. It's going to be the foundation that's going to spring you forward.
So congratulations to our elementary school students, our third graders across the district. Of course, Ms. Rives, who couldn't be with us this evening, led the push for that to encourage, but there were also some other instrumental people on each campus. So at this time, I'd like for our elementary librarians who are able to join us this evening to come up. Elementary librarians. Without all of you, this wouldn't have been possible. You are the cheerleaders on campus. You are the ones leading the charge. Of course, Ms. Rives was right there behind you, encouraging you. And for 18 of you to be in that final 64, and then for us to have 3 in the final 16 was amazing. Yeah, squeeze in, squeeze in.
Back here too. Y'all can
So get ready. Wait, y'all smile for the camera first. So, you know, Ms. Rives was approached after the NCAA Final Four, right? March Madness, about maybe something during football season with NCAA. So get ready. Get ready. It's coming again. Something's coming. So anyway, we just want to say thank you. Thank you for your passion. with our students, not just at the elementary schools, but also our secondary librarians, because I don't think people realize, they think about what their librarian was when they were in school, and every time I was a librarian, right? I know, and every time I go to the dentist, they go, "You don't look like my librarian." I'm like, well, my dentist is 65 years old, so I don't know what your librarian looked like. But these, I'd say men and women, but they're women up here right now, they not only check out books. That's what people think librarians do. They create lessons that engage students. They teach research. They do technology. A lot of them are our contacts on campus for, they call them like the district liaisons for communication. So they have a lot on their plate, but also just being those cheerleaders for our students in literacy and reading. So thank you, ladies, for all that you do for our students, and congratulations. Now we have our commendations.
All right, now we're up to commendations.
And we have Miss Rachel Moore with Communications here with us this evening.
All right, good evening, Board, Superintendent Nelson. Tonight we have many student commendations, so we'll start with the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo School Art Contest. So the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo has been offered the school art contest for more than 50 years. This event offers students the chance to participate in the Glassell School of Art or Western Art Academy. All high school participants may apply for scholarship opportunities, and winning pieces have the opportunity to be auctioned off for a cash prize. So congratulations to the following students whose artwork was awarded Best of Show, Gold Medal, or Special Merit for the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo Art Contest. We have Aaron Hoot from Nelson Elementary. Giselle Barones from Stevenson Primary. Elora Sanford, Fairview Junior High. Nicole Ruiz, Rodeo Palms Junior High. Priscilla Baker, Rise Academy. Camila Madalara, Shadow Creek High School. Rebecca McNeil, Alvin High School. Manav Mitra, Shadow Creek High School. Claire Lee, Shadow Creek High School. Ash Vatek, Alvin High School. And the High School 3D Best of Show Premium Award winner and auction participant, Althea Nigos with Shadow Creek High School. So congratulations to these students and their teachers. And if the teachers are here and want to come up, come. And parents, please feel free to take pictures.
Phil, can you get them all in, or do you need them to stagger? Squeeze in, squeeze in.
Y'all can step up on this back, there's a back ledge right here.
Yeah, if some of you want to stand on the, okay. There you go. How are you?
There's a ledge back
There you
here.
go.
Yeah, y'all can step up.
We got time. Take your pictures, please.
Congratulations, students. Well done. Very talented.
All right, y'all can be seated if your parents got the pictures. Okay, next we have several FFA students who had a successful showing this year, also at the 2023 Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. So here are the students who received Best of or Blue Ribbon honors. From the Alvin FFA, we have Grace Sutton, Mia Aguilar, Caitlin Lawson, and Kristen Lawson, and their advisor is Emily Joseph. From the Manville FFA, we have Alyssa Whitehead, Harley Wiltz, and Brianna Briggs, and their advisor, Bree Clark. And from the Shadow Creek FFA, we have Lily Grigsby, Kendall Johnson, and Anna Burke, and their advisors are Lindsay Chapman and Patrick Lynn.
You got more coming. You got a couple more coming.
Do the teachers want to come up and get in the picture? No, Bree, you don't want to come? Miss Joseph, no? Oh, here we go. Awesome. Oh. Lots of photos.
I think you got it.
Keep smiling.
All right, congratulations to these students.
Congratulations, students.
Okay, now we have Shadow Creek's DECA students, Maggie No and Celine Nguyen, competed in the Community Giving Project at the state competition on March 9th through the 11th. They were finalists for their event and have advanced to the International Career Development Conference, which is in Orlando, Florida, on April 22nd through the 25th. So if Maggie No and Celine Nguyen will come up. DECA is an association of marketing students that encourages the development of business and leadership skills through academic conferences and competitions. Texas boasts the largest DECA association in the nation. So
Congratulations.
Wait.
Oh.
On March 14th through the 18th, Alvin High School, Shadow Creek High School, and Manville High School girls competed at the Texas High School Women's Powerlifting Championship in Corpus Christi. It was an exciting day for the Alvin High School Yellow Jackets as the team finished 4th place overall out of 64 teams. So congratulations to the following lifters. The state medalists for Alvin High School are Estefani Lino. She placed 4th and was a state medalist. Lexi Rodriguez placed 5th and was also a state medalist. I'm sorry, she got 4th.
Oh,
I'd correct it
hey,
too.
that's important.
Very important.
Nice.
Denise Limon, 2nd place. She also has a state record in the 132-pound class with a 425-pound squat.
Wow.
We have Hannah Casas, who got 3rd place. Eliana Hernandez got 2nd place. And she also has a state record with a 570-pound squat.
Wow.
And Maya Ruiz got 3rd place. And other students that qualified for state are Kaylin Tucker, Isabella Resendez, Valeria Rangel, and Natalie Ramirez. And we had a Shadow Creek High School girl also qualify for state, Tori Crawford. And Manville had Zion Wells, Ciara Eason, and Abriel Velasquez.
I know.
It's crazy.
Amazing.
I think my back hurt when she read that.
Congratulations.
Still hard to get those suits on. Is it hard? Yeah, still. Yep.
Then on March 24th and 25th, the Alvin High School, Manville High School, and Shadow Creek High School boys competed at the Texas High School Men's Powerlifting Championship. And the following lifters qualified for the state competition. For Alvin High School, we had Jesus Alaniz, Logan Allegria. Manville High School had Fred Kalu. And Shadow Creek High School had Efren Figueroa.
Congratulations.
Great job.
Congratulations.
And finally, we have a special staff commendation. So last month, the district received a check for $1,148,346.60 from the Texas Comptroller of Public Accounts. The money was a grant for replacing 10 buses in our fleet to more energy-friendly buses, and the grant was secured by Andreas Montez, fleet manager, and Thomas Clement, who is the Alvin ISD shop foreman, with the help of Jeff Dungan, our executive director of transportation, and Greg Bingham, our director of transportation. So they are here.
Yes. Come on up.
Thank you all.
Congratulations. Thank you.
All right, and those.
And I will say, these guys have sought out various grants that have saved the district millions, I can say that, of dollars, and they continue to seek. One of the things, though, with the grants, when they say for 10 buses, we have to discard, they call them chop, old buses. So that way, again, it's all about being more energy efficient, environmentally. So we do have to get rid of 10 of our older buses to replace that. But thank you to Thomas and Andreas and Jeff and Greg and all that you do over at Transportation to help the district operate fiscally responsibly, but also to save dollars that go actually back to buying more buses and or in the classroom. So thank you. Thank you all.
And just so you know, those buses that we get rid of are 12 to 15 years old with hundreds of thousands of miles on them. So,
Yep.
and we get brand new buses to replace them, so it's a great deal. We are now in the open forum session of the agenda. If you would like to address the board, you should have completed the public participation form and submitted it to the superintendent secretary prior to the meeting according to policy BED local. After I call your name, please come to the podium and state your name and the purpose for addressing the board. Please understand that you will have 3 minutes to speak. Yet if 10 or more speakers have signed up to speak, the board president shall have the discretion to reduce the time limit to no less than 1 minute based on time constraints on the conduct of board business. If a translator is needed, you will be given 6 minutes to speak. I respectfully ask that you make no derogatory statements about any student or staff of Alvin ISD. I ask that you also understand that the board cannot take action on your request or comment at this time. However, the president or the designee may refer the request to the superintendent for review. And we have one tonight, Shirley Brothers.
There are a lot of kids here tonight.
Anyway, good evening, and thank you, friends, for allowing me to come tonight. I'm here once again to remind all of you an important issue that affects our young people in our community, our state, and our nation every single day. The month of April holds two important awareness topics: sexual assault and child abuse prevention. It was so good to see some of our folks at the pinwheel ceremony. As you saw, if you're down by the Chamber of Commerce, the pinwheels represent the number of kids that have been abused and one who has died in our county this year, so in 2022. So it's quite significant. It's time for all of us to recognize and acknowledge that we each play a part in promoting the social and emotional well-being of children. This is very emotional for me, as all of you know, so just bear with me. Anyway, the families in our community. It's also a time to raise public awareness about sexual abuse and to educate communities on how to prevent it. Child sexual abuse is a major health public health, human rights, and social justice issue, and we need everyone's help to end it. The facts and statistics of child sexual abuse are deeply concerning. It is truly estimated that 1 in 10 children in the United States will be sexually abused before their 18th birthday. And 45% of these victims will not disclose that for at least 5 years or more. So, and currently there are 42 million survivors of child sexual abuse living in the United States today. Survivors of sexual abuse face lifelong consequences, including mental health issues, substance abuse, PTSD, lost wages, and more. And while this information is grim, 95% of child sexual abuse is preventable through education and awareness. So the majority of perpetrators of child sexual abuse are someone the child or the family knows. As many as 93% of the victims under the age of 18 know their abuser. Just like so many other tragic situations that children go through, sexual abuse is traumatic. When a child experiences a traumatic event, the entire family is affected. Often, family members have different experiences around the event and different emotional responses to the traumatic event. Recognizing the experience of the event and helping families cope with triggers, feelings of fear, helplessness, anger, and even guilt in not being able to protect their child from a traumatic experience is an important component of a family's emotional recovery journey. We must raise awareness and highlight the importance of supporting children and families who are victims, because victims and their families truly do live with the trauma for the rest of their lives. We must keep telling their stories, not only because of the devastation of the abuse, but to also show the hope and the strength that sustains survivors. Victims of sexual abuse don't get over it. They don't move on from their trauma. They are forced to make space for it. They're forced to carry it and live with it. And sometimes, miraculously, they thrive in spite of it. So let me close real fast by saying, I've said in the past, we need to stop asking what's wrong with that child and ask what's happened to that child. So remind that. So just to keep a reminder, got bracelets for each of you from the Child Welfare Board, as well as the Brazoria County Alliance for Children. So I'm not going to give you my key back, but I'll give it. Thank you. Thanks, you guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you,
Just
Shirley.
keep telling their story.
Thanks, Cheryl.
All right, next we have a presentation by Zonda Demographics.
Good evening, members of the board.
Good evening, Rocky.
Superintendent Nelson, it's a pleasure to be back in Alvin. This is our fourth quarter report, so it's a little late. The data for fourth quarter came out in February, so we're kind of in the first quarter doesn't come out until about the time you guys are out of school. So we've updated a few slides in it, and just kind of I'll walk through it briefly, just as I always do. Unemployment rates, we always kind of start with that because we're kind of watching the economy pretty closely right now, just trying to figure out where this recession is, right? If we're in it, getting to it, had it, we're trying to see. But unemployment rates are well below 5%, which is considered full employment, and we're back to where we were, pre-COVID now. If that's, that's kind of the state that we're in. Things look good in the housing. In the employment market, but not quite the same in the housing market. There it goes. As far as Texas, the state of Texas, we got some preliminary data that came out recently for the state of Texas. And this year, in 2022, we actually bounced back a little more. 90,000 new students in the state in 22, 23. Last year was 55,000, keeping in mind that, the COVID year, we lost 120,000. So it feels good to see that 90,000, but keep in mind, we were growing 50,000 a year. So we're really still down 100,000 kids or more. Some of those students just haven't come back. But it was good to see that big number. You can kind of see where you see the greenish colors or where we had the most growth, and you can see if we, as we zoom in on this next one, you'll find that Alvin's in the green, right? So that's a good sign. In Region 4, it was a very similar trend. We had a big growth year in 1920, and then of course COVID hits. We lost 30,000 students. We had 30,000 less students. I don't want to say we lost students. We had 30,000 less students, and then the last 2 years things have become a little better. But again, You could say we've gotten back that 30,000, but we didn't see that strong growth that we've seen historically in Region 4. And I can tell you that, Houston ISD was probably the biggest, dropped more than any district, and they continue to struggle. The housing market is what we're watching now. You can see that those blue and purple lines have ran pretty close together. Closings are usually a little bit behind starts, but you'll see it cross over. What happened here is, about the time COVID hit, we got really strong housing, but then prices went up, housings became pretty expensive, and then we also saw interest rates climb. And as soon as that started happening, builders started pulling back, cancellations began to happen. So we had a lot of starts and not as many closings. They weren't closing homes. A lot of homes that were actually purchased or had contracts, they had cancellations, because by the time they got the home finished, that interest rate had almost doubled, and that was like an $800 swing in their payment, and some families just couldn't afford it. And you can see now the first quarter is the first quarter in the fourth quarter was the first time in a long time where closings exceeded starts. That start rate continues to decline. We don't know where the bottom is on that yet, but it'll likely still continue to go down for a couple more quarters. As far as the multifamily market goes, 90% is the average occupancy in an apartment complex right now in the Houston area. That's down about 2%, but apartments are having no trouble getting folks in. The reason that's down is because we added 15,000 units too. So really it's a pretty impressive stat that they were able to add 15,000 units in 1 year and still keep an average of 90% across the board. Sometimes I push the button right, sometimes I don't. Deed transactions. So we track deed transactions. So not just new homes, but existing homes. And deed transactions from the appraisal records, we see what's coming out, and you can see the existing home prices have now gone from 182,000 back in 2010 to just over 350,000 now. And then you have your new homes, they're sitting at 420, and I think you're probably, it'd be tough to get one for less than 400,000 right now in Alvin ISD, a new home. So the pretty strong housing market. We'll see what happens with that over the summer, of course. If we look at new housing, the annual start rate in Alvin is now at 1765. You'll see a slide in a second that we were averaging over 2,000, so you can see where that's begun to drop off. Annual closings stayed over 2,000 because of inventory, and I'll talk more about that later, but we've got over 1,000 homes currently in inventory and VDL of 2,800, so we're seeing some strong indications that the lots are still going to be there. They're delivering lots. It's just builders are kind of slow to kind of get going again. Quarterly starts, look at that 171. That's still keeping an eye on. And keep in mind, too, that those starts are really going to impact your 24-25 school year more than this year. So I don't think this drop-off we're seeing is going to be a 23-24 impact as much as it's going to be a 24-25 impact if we see it happen. This chart here, you can see from the fourth quarter of 21 to the fourth quarter of 22, how much your starts are off by almost 700. Your inventory, your under construction numbers, is now less than 1,000. It's down to 680. And so we have less homes under construction. The difference between inventory and under construction are finished vacant homes. So what's interesting is you've got 680 homes under construction, 1,100 homes. That means there's over 400 homes finished but vacant at the end of the fourth quarter. And that talks to some of that cancellation stuff that we talked about, that those homes are out there, they're ready to go. The good news from that is those will likely all close over the summer during the first quarter. So we're going to see some strong closings the next couple quarters. I just don't think we're going to probably get back to 2,000 homes by the time school starts. And that's what you'll notice that in my forecast too. Again, we have plenty of vacant developed lots, so when things decide to bounce back, it'll come back, I think, pretty quick. You've got 58 actively building subdivisions, so strong actively building subdivisions. Groundwork is even underway. That last bullet, that 1350, that means that it's taking a property from being future, nothing going on, to delivering vacant developed lots. They're starting to move dirt. So that's another almost half a year worth of, if you were doing over 2,000 a year. So the lots are being developed. It's just the builders are going to work down that inventory before they really get going on starts again. We got a couple pictures here. Don't worry, just like I didn't do all 56 of them, just two. Sierra Vista West, that's the Meridiana zone. They have some homes from the 200s there, some MI homes. So those might sell pretty well. That's a good price point right now. 189 of those homes are under construction, so they've got almost 1,000 occupied. Pretty strong yielding area right there too from a
Now,
student.
that's where our new elementary is going to open, Nichols Mock.
Right,
next
yeah, you
year.
can see Nichols
Okay.
Mock on the map there, yes, and you can actually, the picture on the far left down the corner, we have Nichols Mock,
Okay.
little update of that picture from December. So yeah, that's gonna yield quite a few students there, I think, especially given the location. And this other, one we have, there we go, Mustang Crossing, we just came in town and picked one out there, just eight homes under construction now, so it's kind of slowed a little bit year over year. They started 13 homes in 2022, so they've declined quite a bit there. They've really slowed down, but again, I think that product, it's one of there's not very many products in Alvin that you can get in that $200,000 range, so I think they'll probably do pretty well this summer. Apartments, we've got 300 units under construction in 2 developments, more than 1,000 future multifamily, so the multifamily are going to continue to, come in Alvin. Those multifamily units that we have along the 288, right? 288, did I get that right? Those have yielded very well. There's a lot of students in those homes, and of course, Shadow Creek's always had a lot of students out there, so those yield very, very well. And it's a little bit of a transitional apartment. Some people are waiting it used to be when they were building Shadow Creek, they were yielding high because they were waiting on a home, and now they're just built. I think they're doing well because they want to be in Alvin ISD and be out in that area. So it's been very strong. Transfer report, this came out just recently too. This is from TEA. We just bring this out to TEA just to kind of give you a gauge. You're actually staying fairly steady. You did have a little bit of a jump in your outgoing transfers from 21 to 22. These are students that live in Alvin but attend school outside of Alvin. And your incoming are students that live outside of Alvin but transfer to Alvin to go to school. So with that, your enrollment projections, this year we added over 900 students in Alvin. Next year we're forecasting that number to be down around 600. And think of that 1,000 as when you were doing 2,000 homes a year, so about a 0.5 yield, 5 students for every 10 homes. This year we think you'll probably be sitting right around that 1,500 number, so that's that 600 is a little bit on that. We're kind of drawing it back a little bit for a couple years. And you can see there within about 3 or 4 years we get back to over 700 new students. Keep in mind also, we've talked about this before, and I don't want to, that's your absolute growth, your net growth with large classes exiting and entering. If you looked at your cohort growth, which is if you went through and counted how many first graders become second grader, third become fourth, that number in about 3 years is still going to be over 1,000 students. You're going to see about 1,000 students growth. You just don't see that in the numbers because of the size of the classes coming and going. So I just wanted, I think I've said that before, and maybe that's, I don't know, I'm kind of a nerd that way. This is your campus reports. This is the same thing. You can see that we've got Nichols Mock opening this year. And we had a great opportunity with the boundary committee to go through that. I think that's the last time I was here when those boundaries got adopted. So you can see some strong growth there, a little bit of a slowdown at elementary, and then it'll start picking back up to where you're adding well over 200 students a year at the elementary level, I think, very soon. High schools, of course, we have some strong, your high schools are showing some color. That yellow box and that red box, you're pretty high there, but we know we're going to get relief there shortly. Things are beginning to happen, especially at the junior high as well. Finally, headwinds are what we're calling it right now. We don't know with the job market being still pretty strong down here. The unemployment rate's pretty low. We think there's going to be some opportunity, maybe the second quarter, for the housing to start kind of coming back. We've heard that builders are helping buyers buy down that interest rate a little bit, where they can maybe meet in the middle. So we're hoping some opportunities there, but I think you'll be over 36,000 students in 10 years, and Alvin's going to continue to have opportunities to open schools, for sure. That was pretty quick, but I'm happy to discuss any of your slide that you guys, I have a reverse button.
Does anybody have any questions?
Regan.
Yeah, I have a question. We just don't have a copy of the slide for the transfers in and transfers out. Could we get a copy of that sent
Sure.
to
Yeah,
us?
yeah,
Thank
we get
you.
that too.
And remember, that includes like employees who live outside the district.
Yep.
They're able to bring their kids, and vice versa if they work somewhere else.
And keep in mind it carries over, so they aren't like new every year either. So a lot of the students were never in your district, it's just, even though they're tracked that way too. So I don't want it to appear as a real negative thing. It's not necessarily. Okay.
Anybody else?
I'm just curious, I don't know, I guess from a board perspective, when we look at like the high school zone and the projected growth there, Is it every 2 years we do the planning zone? What is, can you
For,
refresh me on that?
you mean for UIL alignment, or
I know
no, for
UIL
the,
is every 2 years, but for our binding, for our boundary.
so we don't have a set schedule. We'll look at it based upon enrollment. These are just projections, right? But we're getting to the point where we're going to open our final schools from the 2018 bond. So it will be at the board's desire when we call together a citizen advisory committee and then look at, is it time to add additional facilities, or do we need to make boundary changes to even out some of the growth there? Or it just depends on, with Iowa Colony opening and next year we'll be adding juniors, that should help relieve some. But again, we always have Alvin High School as like the largest enrollment, but it is the larger campus as well. So, and you have to remember at high school, at any given time during the day, you have kids flexing out to our CTE center in Manville. So those students maybe aren't all on campus at the same time. So you could have 200 to 300 students flexing out of there throughout the day. So we take that in consideration, but we're continually watching in case we do need to make any kind of boundary changes, and then we would come to the board and either make some administrative adjustments if it's just a tweak, or if we feel like it's a major adjustment, then we would ask the board to call a committee to do that. Remember as well, we're requesting, I believe it's tonight, for the board's consideration to do a long-term facility infrastructure plan. And so that will also help us with where our needs are. So that would be good information for a citizen advisory committee and/or boundary committee to look at based on growth. So thank you, Trustee Johnson. That's a great question.
And I might mention, when you receive the TEA transfer report, or when you see that comes straight from TEA's website. So you can look at historical ones too, just go to their website. Keep in mind the slide that you see, we condensed the slide. There could be 30 more schools on each of those lists that have either incoming or outgoing, but they're all listed as NA by TEA because it's like less than 5, and due to FERPA laws, they can't be on there. So if you actually add up the numbers, the math won't work, and you'll think that I can't add, but it's only showing the ones that are over 10, basically. So just if you start doing the math, I don't want you to kind of think, wow, and he's doing our numbers, right? So.
Another thing, if you look at the junior highs, we have a couple that are there in red. Remember, we're going to open Iowa Colony Junior High in 2024, and that will help with some relief there, as well as with, I believe it was Mason and Elementary. We'll have Barbara Bennett Elementary School that will open across the highway there, not too far from Jackie Caffey Junior High, and that will help with some of the relief there. For some of those schools. So we're always looking at programs as well, which schools host different programs, and where there's space that we possibly could move a program to free up seats. We really try to maximize our seats versus going out and building a new school, right? Saying, oh, we need a new school. No, let's look at our programs and are we really maximizing seats? I will tell you, and we'll be anxious to get our report back once the study is done, but our portables are very old, and there's some portables that are going to have to be removed just because they're becoming less and less usable or friendly usable for students. So we're evaluating those as well. So that may have an effect on us.
Yeah, when you look at the percentage changes, it's not that alarming, right, from a percentage standpoint, but when you look at it from the actual seats or student standpoint, want to make sure we don't get overcrowded or oversaturated, especially at the younger level. High school, I know it's a lot of moving parts, but for our younger kids, just make sure we keep an eye on that.
Right.
And that's where we're at now. We are completing our schools that we had from bond money for 2000.
So we're opening Nichols Mock this next year, as well as Harvey Junior High. We'll have additional seats there. And then Alvin Elementary will have additional seats. It'll be a K-5 there next to Alvin Junior High. And then in 2024, we'll have Iowa Colony Junior High and Barbara Bennett
Both of them.
Elementary.
Worked on those boundaries to some extent. We're going to validate them.
So Rocky does, he works closely with Mr. Gesh when we do the boundary stuff, running numbers and stuff for us.
Good stuff. Thank you.
Thanks.
Anybody else? All right. Thank you very much.
Thanks, y'all.
Appreciate it.
Thank
Have a
you,
nice
Rocky.
evening.
Next, we have number 8, announcement of board training credits. And at this time, all Alvin ISD board members have met or exceeded their yearly requirements for continuing education training. All right, next we'll go to consent agenda items A through J. Does anybody want to pull any of those, do it separately? All right, do we have a motion to approve consent agenda items A through J?
So moved.
By trustee Peterson. Do we have a second? By trustee Scott. All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Next, we'll have request to consider adoption of resolution in support of Texas legislature rejecting any diversion of public dollars to private entities in the form of education savings accounts and similar voucher schemes. Carol?
So Board, in light of the current discussion in our Texas legislature regarding vouchers, education savings accounts, whatever terminology is used for private vouchers, basically, we're asking for consideration of the resolution from the Alvin ISD Board of Trustees to consider adopting this attached resolution, noting your opposition to any type of voucher system where public dollars would be diverted to private entities in the form of education savings account or similar voucher schemes.
Do we have a motion that the Board of Trustees adopt the attached resolution? By trustee Harris. Do we have a second? By trustee Scott. Any questions or comments? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you, Board.
Thank you. Next, we have request to consider approval of shared service arrangement for the Therapeutic Education Center in Friendswood, Texas.
So Board, as you recall, I mentioned that we were partnering with other school districts to create a special ed cooperative. We currently have a cooperative that Clear Creek ISD oversees, which is our Deaf Ed program. But this would be for our students with significant disabilities who are in need of more support than that can be provided on a regular school campus. The district secured a state grant to offset the cost of creating this program. I believe it was $1.6 million. The TEC at Friendswood will provide these services geographically closer to eligible students. And this was in light of when the state shut down Avondale. We did not have students at Avondale, but Pearland and Friendswood did. And so they were in need of, what do we do now? But we have had some in the past as well as at Shiloh. So this would be a joint partnership between our 3 districts. Superintendents have met to review ideas, as well as our special ed directors, and our CFOs have been involved as well. So if you have any questions.
Do we have a motion to approve the shared service arrangement for the TEC?
So moved.
Trustee Harris, do we have a second? Second by trustee Johnson. Any questions or comments? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Next, we have request to consider approval for request of qualifications award for facility assessment.
So Board, a request for qualifications was extended to qualified architectural and engineering firms specializing in a K-12 public educational sector to provide architectural and engineering services, facility assessments, bond planning, and long-range planning services. A committee was used to evaluate the 8 packets that we received, and we are requesting to award this to PBK Architects with a score of 978, meeting the terms and conditions set forth in the RFQ.
Do we have a motion to approve the RFQ as presented?
So moved.
Corey.
By trustee Scott. Do we have a second?
Second.
By trustee Peterson. Any questions or comments? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Next, we have request to consider approval of group medical insurance.
So Board, we were up for bid to go out for our group medical insurance for our employees for the district. The Risk Management Office and Alvin ISD's Benefit and Insurance Committee has received and completed their review of their proposals for medical insurance, and the recommendation is as attached. pursuant to our state purchasing guidelines. The RFP was extended through legal notice in our county newspaper as well as district website to solicit participation in the bidding process. 3 responses and 2 declinations were received.
All right, do we have a motion to approve the group medical insurance? By trustee Scott, do we have a second? By trustee Scheibel. Any questions or comments? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Next, we have request to consider approval of financial advisory agreement.
So Board, Alvin ISD recently received notice that the district's financial advisor has transitioned away from the current firm. The financial services team, in consultation with Alvin ISD's purchasing department, as well as the district's bond counsel, consulted and reviewed available options. Following this review, we feel confident that the recommendation presented to the board this evening will provide the best continuity for the implementation for our long-term financial goals and ensure the district is positioned to address near-term bond remarketing transactions.
Do we have a motion to approve the financial advisory agreement as presented? By trustee Harris, do we have a second?
Second.
By trustee Johnson. Any questions or comments? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 7-0. And just for the record, we did pull number 14 on the agenda items. Next, we have request to consider approval of teacher appraisal calendar.
So Board, each year, Alvin ISD creates a local appraisal calendar included in the teacher local appraisal system within our District of Innovation. Every year, a new teacher appraisal calendar is created and presented to the board for information. It doesn't require board approval, but we do like to set the calendar and then it's sent to our appraisers and teachers.
All right, do we have a motion to approve professional contact recommendations? Am I in the right
The
one?
calendar, number 16.
I'm sorry. Let me go up.
It's really for review.
Okay.
President Humber, it's really for a review, the appraisal calendar.
Yeah. A motion to approve the reviews appraisal calendar as presented. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
By trustee Peterson, a second. By trustee Scott. Any questions or comments? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 7-0. All right, now, request to consider approval to extend term, renew probationary, and terminate at end of probationary professional contracts.
So Board, to comply with the Texas Education Code, our personnel contracts are considered at our April board meeting. Attached are the list for each contract recommendation for your consideration for approval.
All right, do we have a motion to approve professional contract recommendations as presented?
So moved.
By trustee Scheibel, do we have a second? By trustee Harris. Any questions or comments? All right, all in favor? All opposed? And I will abstain. So motion carries 6-0 and 1 abstain. All right, we have request to consider approval of employment of personnel.
So Board, attached are recommendations for hire. These were some of our classroom teacher facilitators who have passed their certification or completed their requirements.
All right, do we have a motion to approval be granted for requested personnel items as presented? By trustee Scott, do we have a second? By trustee Selsky, any questions or comments? All right, all in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Let's see. Next, we have request to consider approval of administrative appointment, high school assistant principal.
So Board, we have an opening for additional assistance for high school assistant principal, but the location will be to be determined based upon what Human Resources sees the need. And so the recommendation is Ms. Araceli Altamirano. She's currently serving as principal at George Sanchez Charter School. She previously served there as a math teacher, an instructional coach, and an assistant principal. She has 16 years of experience in the district. Araceli received her bachelor's degree in math and science from the National Autonomous University of Mexico, her principal certification from Region 4, her master's in science education from the University of Region Montana. The committee has recommended the board consider for approval Ms. Altamirano to assist in leading the staff and students as an assistant principal at one of our high schools.
Do we have a motion to approve Mrs. Araceli Altamirano as a assistant principal, high school assistant principal, location to be determined? So moved. Trustee Selsky, second by trustee Peterson. Any questions or comments? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 7-0.
Ms. Altamirano, you want to stand? Can you introduce your guests that you brought with you this evening? So, Ms. Altamirano, real quick, your husband teaches for us at Don Jeter Elementary. How many years? 8 years. And your daughter is a Manville High School sophomore? Correct. Yep. So welcome to the family, Alvin ISD.
Yeah. All right. Next, we have request to consider approval of administrative appointment, assistant associate principal, Rise Academy.
So board, last month you approved this position to be added at RISA Committee's recommending Mrs. Victoria Kwan. She's currently serving as Alvin ISD's principal at Pomona Elementary. She has served Alvin ISD as an assistant principal for 5 years at both Wilder and Pomona Elementary. Before joining the Alvin ISD team, Victoria served A-Leaf as an assistant principal for 5 years and as a content specialist for 3 years. She also previously taught in HISD for 6 years. In 2022, Victoria was named Alvin ISD Elementary Principal of the Year. She has 23 years of experience in education, 9 of those being with Alvin ISD. She received her bachelor's degree in hotel and restaurant management from University of Houston, her alternative certification from Region 4, and her master's of educational management from the University of Houston Clear Lake. The committee has confidence and recommendation to the board for consideration Ms. Kwan to serve as our Director of Professional Learning.
Do we have a motion to approve Ms. Victoria Kwan as Director of Professional Learning?
So moved.
By trustee Harris, a second by trustee Selsky. Any questions or comments? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 7-0.
Ms. Kwan, can you introduce your guests that you brought with you? Nolan Ryan. Congratulations.
Next, we have request to consider approval of administrative appointment, Director of Human Resources.
So board, this was a position that Human Resources has had open, and they have decided this is the time that they really, really need that additional support with teacher incentive allotment coming up. Job fairs have geared up again. Of course, mentoring and new teacher retention and things of that nature. So the committee interviewed, and they're recommending Miss Natalie Hoskins, who's currently serving Alvin Independent School District as the principal of Passmore Elementary. She has previously served Alvin ISD as a teacher for 5 years at Hood Case Elementary, a literacy coordinator for 2 years at Mary Merrick Elementary, and assistant principal for 5 years at Passmore. Before joining the Alvin ISD team, Natalie served as a teacher and literacy leader at Westwood Elementary in Friendswood for 6 years. Natalie has 23 years of experience in education, with 17 of those being in Alvin ISD. She received her bachelor's degree in interdisciplinary studies from Sam Houston State University and her master's in educational administration from Lamar University. The committee is recommending for consideration Ms. Hoskins to our board.
Do we have a motion to approve Ms. Natalie Hoskins as Director of Human Resources? By trustee Scott. Do we have a second? By trustee Johnson. Any questions or comments? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 7-0.
You want to introduce your guests? Awesome. Congratulations.
All right. Next, we have request to consider approval of administrative appointment, principal at Stevenson Elementary.
So the board, the committee interviewed, and they are recommending Ms. Vanessa Ruiz. She's currently serving as the assistant principal at Bill Hassey Elementary School. Vanessa began her career here in Alvin ISD as a paraprofessional and then a bilingual teacher at Alvin Primary School for over 12 years. She then moved on to become an assistant principal at Stevenson for 4 years, Bill Hassey Elementary for 3 years, and has also served the district as summer school coordinator principal for 4 years. She has over 18 years of experience in education, all of these being here in Alvin ISD. She received her bachelor's degree in interdisciplinary studies from the University of Houston Clear Lake and her master's of education degree in educational administration from the University of St. Thomas, Houston. The committee's recommendation for consideration to the board is Ms. Ruiz to lead the staff and students as principal at R.L. Stevenson Elementary School.
Do we have a motion to approve Vanessa Ruiz as principal at Stevenson Elementary? Trustee Peterson, second by Trustee Harris. Any questions or comments? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 7-0.
Ms. Ruiz, will you introduce the guests that you brought this evening? Congratulations. Ms. Ruiz, your mother works for the district? And what campus is she at? Nelson Elementary. So I just have to tell you that Ms. Medrano, right? Is it Medrano? So today, this morning, when she doesn't have to stand up, she's good. When Vanessa was telling Dr. Valdez and myself that she didn't tell anyone except for her husband and family, but when she found out, I think when Dr. Bersenio called her, she called you and said she wanted to come over, and you said, "No, I'm already in bed." She said, "But I just live right down the street," but I had to tell my mother, so that was very special. So congratulations.
And you know all of y'all will be taking pictures after this. So.
Yes, everyone needs pictures after this.
Well, at that time, I'll make a motion to adjourn. Do we have a second?
Second.
Trustee Scheibel, all in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 7-0. We are adjourned. Thank y'all and congratulations.